Welcome or welcome back. This is just a short video to talk through the syllabus. I'm going to talk through it and on this so that I don't need to spend time talking about it in class. So watch the video, and if you have any questions or confusion, please bring your questions to class. I'm happy to talk about the syllabus. I just thought, I'll make a video of it, and then it'll be available for you to watch. And it's very important for you to watch it because it talks about our course policies, which are different than I'm sure any other course you've taken. So you got to watch this. And so I won't be handing the syllabus out. This is a paperless course. Any handouts and stuff like that, I'll just post on Brightspace. So our syllabus is on Brightspace, as is this link. I'll insert this link right into our syllabus, so you can look through our syllabus and you can review it with this video if you're interested. Okay, great. And so then the next thing to say is not that, but this. Before we talk about the syllabus, let me just mention that on our Brightspace page, if you don't have the textbook yet, under Content, if you click Content on this pull-down menu and click on Electronic Reserves, and then click on that, it will take you to the first chapters in our book that we are going to read. So even if you don't have the book, you can get started on this. And it looks like that. And so what we have here is from our book, we have the first chapter, and then we skip the second chapter until after the first exam, so that we go to chapter 3 and then chapter 4. In addition, these are some pages that are from the previous edition that did not get included in our 7th edition. So these are from the 6th edition, and we're now using the 7th edition of our book. And so we just have some pages here that no one will have in their textbook. We need to go here and just read these few pages from the previous edition. Great, okay? And so just saying that, now let's get on to the syllabus. So here we are, and I'm very easy to connect with. I do have an office phone, but I don't pay attention to that the way I pay attention to email. So if you want to meet with me, I do have office hours, but I don't sit in my office during office hours. I got a lot of stuff going on and I move around. So if you just stroll by my office, I'm not going to be there hardly ever. I'll be in my research lab next door or somewhere around the building, or maybe even around campus. So if you want to meet, just send me an email and suggest a couple times when you could meet, and I can meet. And I always am a couple of days behind on my emails, so give me a heads up. Don't say I want to meet with you this afternoon, but tomorrow, the next day, like that. And so that's me. And I've been a professor a long time. I love to talk to students, meet with students. We can talk about our course. We can talk about the lab course if you're in that. We can talk about any of your courses. I'm happy to talk about any of that. Also, we can talk about career paths and internships and volunteer opportunities and stuff like that. Professors are a really important resource, and so take advantage of that. You don't have to have a professor per class. You don't have to have a professor as your faculty advisor. You can talk to me or any other professor in any program at any time. Well, you have to maybe make an appointment, but you're certainly welcome, okay? And then here's our course, and we'll talk in a minute about our course attendance policy. It's an in-person course. Okay, awesome. And so then we have this textbook, and there's a new textbook. It's a 7th edition, and in this textbook edition, this publisher has really shifted toward really pushing electronic format for their textbooks. And so, for example, they used to always send me a free hard copy of the textbook, and they didn't want to do that. And I had to ask them, kind of special favor, send me a physical copy so I can carry it to class and look at it in class if students have questions. So I think it's really unlikely that you'll buy a physical copy. You'll probably rent or buy an electronic one. But in any case, we want to use the 7th edition. The 7th edition is not terribly different than our previous edition, the 6th edition. the chapter numbers have changed. So that'll be confusing. They've really kind of bundled some chapters around, but the content is got a lot of similarities. So I'm saying that because if you happen to already own a 6th edition, you can get away with using it. But if you haven't purchased it, do not buy the 6th edition. And so that's that. And then this is something that's different probably than the other courses you've had. And so we have something that I call participation. It's required. It's not the usual use of the word participation. I don't mean you have to ask questions and talk in class. Instead, it's attendance. Yeah, and but see, I have 2 different terms for attendance like that. And so participation is that if you're not in class, what I do is I try to record each class meeting and then put them up on YouTube. And if you're not in class, and you don't have to tell me, for whatever the reason is, your car broke down or you're sick, you don't have to tell me. What you do have to do is within a week of that class meeting, you need to take notes on the recording, take pictures of the notes, and send them to me. Yep. And you can't send them late, and you need to do that all the time. If you have some issue that comes up where you're really sick and can't do it, well, just send me an email and we'll work out a plan for your specific situation. But the recordings, what happens in class is really important, and it's just not okay for a student to miss class and hope that they can get notes from a friend. We've got this technology and we got to use it. So that being said, I'm using this technology and you're like, well, why would I drive all the way down from Skowhegan to go to this class? It's just going to be on YouTube. And the answer is, well, it's an in-person course. USM requires students to participate in in-person courses. You have to attend. So you have to try to come. I'll have a sign-out sheet, so we'll pass it around each time. You sign up if you're there. If you sign up and you're there, you're all set on these. You're good. You don't have to do any of this if you're present. If you're absent, you have to take notes. And if you miss several class meetings, even if you take notes, you still could get a lower grade because this is just a requirement. You're not getting credit. It's not an extra credit or a credit requirement. It's just this is part of how our course runs. Okay, and I'll describe that a couple of times in the first couple of weeks because students, haven't dealt with that. But you have to try to come to class, and if you miss class, you have to take notes and send me pictures of your notes. Okay, great. And so then the next thing is just the grades. So we're going to have 3 exams. You can see they have increasing value. They're going to be the same format, but my experience is that at the first exam, students have a hard time appreciating just what's expected. And once they get a handle on that, even though we'll have quizzes, we'll have homework assignments, I'll share an old first exam. You'll have plenty of opportunity to understand what's going on. It's just surprising because the exams are some long answer exams, some drawings and labelings and stuff like that, and so it's hard. And so the idea is that once we get the hang of it, we should have higher value on the later exams, and then we have a variety of quizzes, and everything will be announced in advance for the quizzes and homework and stuff like that. Okay, that just describes that you'll be able to understand where you are for a letter grade all along the course, because after the first exam, you'll get a letter grade on that, and when I give you important assignments back, you'll get letter grades on those as well. So you'll know where you are. If you're ever confused about where you are, just let me know. But it's I'm a very fair grader. I try to give you as good a grade as I can. I remember very well going to college and really focused on a lot of talk with my friends of grades and grading systems like this. Okay. All right, and so then Each class meeting, about an hour into class, we'll stop and we'll pair up with a classmate. We'll try to have you meet with everybody in our class multiple times and talk about things that we thought were important so far on that day. And that's because recall is how people learn. So, if you learn a song, you don't just listen to the song and say, yeah, I got it. You actually listen to the song, then you stop it, and then you try singing it. And so that's how a person learns. And that's just skipped over in college. The only time it comes up is where somebody will say, well, you need to review for the exam. Well, you should be spending time after each class period trying to recall what you just learned. And after every page you read in a textbook, you should pause and think about what did you just learn? What did you just see there? What did you just hear there? And practice repeating it. So that's one of the reasons we do it. We do it for a bunch of reasons, and we'll get to those in our class meetings. Great. Then the next thing is, here's our class schedule up through our first exam. So you can see it looks like there's not that much material covered on our first exam, but it's about 200 pages in our textbook. I don't know, not that much, but it's a lot. Some of the textbook chapters in this book are long, and it'll cover everything up to that point. So you can see the flow. We're going to start out with our first chapter. We're going to do some other readings a little bit, have some quizzes, have some assignments, read some more chapters, and have our exam. And so we're pretty locked into that schedule, and I tend to show it at the start of class, to show, this is what we're going for our first exam, and that's when it's going to be, about a month into our class. Yep, okay. Then, I don't know what happened there, but it wasn't good. Sort of struggling here a little bit. I got to get back in the groove. And so I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yep. So there's more on our syllabus. It's more of support, resources that we'll talk some about in class as we go along. So USM has a great Learning Commons and Tutoring Center Learning Commons and support for students with disabilities and counseling and more. And so that's also on our syllabus. So I'm going to stop it here for now, and I'll see you soon.